Dan RadioStyle. I hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. Why the bigger things tend to cause us more doubt. We have those doubt cycles, right? So many of us struggle through some of these and kind of wonder, what can I do about it? I will say one of the most common things that I think most of us try to do is we try to quickly replace the doubt thoughts with a positive thought, right? With affirmations and other things along those lines. It is a great practice, but really, we got to get to the root cause. What is causing the doubt, right? Really the big question. So, easy way to kind of come at this, first off, is most of us know, and if you haven't yet, you should always start with the smaller things. That's kind of the general rule of law of attraction, right? Get a bottle of water, find some money on the ground, get somebody to buy you a cup of coffee. I don't know, things along green lights are fun. Parking places are a lot of fun. Go down to some busy location and imagine a parking place opening up, and you will drive down and someone will be backing out right when you come in. You'll be like, no way, did I just do that? Yes, you did. Those are the smaller things, the easier things. A lot of us don't have as many issues with those because there's a sense of naturalness. I did a show a couple weeks ago. It's linked below. It's Neville Goddard talks about the naturalness of what we're trying to create. So the smaller things are definitely in line with our beliefs, right? We know we can do it. We have no problem seeing ourselves doing it. And so we do it. No problem. We don't question it. We don't doubt it. We don't go, am I going to get that parking place? No, maybe in the parking place, that's kind of one because it is sort of somewhat magical the first time it happens when you go down and literally you're seeing someone pull out, especially when it's one of those really busy places where spots don't stay open for long. So in those cases, yeah, you can get a little doubt cycle, but eventually it's going to happen and it'll blow your mind. But talk about something like maybe buying a new handbag, for example, or maybe trying to manifest new clothing, new outfit, right? Something, maybe even a car. Or for my buddy, Nick, buying an airplane. The guy buys airplanes and stuff. It's pretty crazy. These things, for a lot of us, we don't see it as a difficult thing. For me, like a car. Like, I mean, whether or not I should buy one right now, whether or not I need the extra expense right now, well, sure, there's a bit of a discussion there, but I could very easily just take my car down to, name and place here, have them run my credit and get a car and drive home. I mean, that easy. I don't question the ability to manifest a car. It's very natural to me. It's something that I know I can do. It's when we get into the, quote, harder stuff. And I know a lot of it, it's funny. There's a belief cycle, right? A lot of it, people are going to say, well, you're just calling it harder, so that's why it's harder. I am calling it harder because so many of us believe it's harder. I'm talking about manifesting that specific person, manifesting maybe a job, manifesting larger amounts of income. That's just to name 3 very, very common things. And for a lot of us, that's something that we have a harder time with. We have a harder time getting behind why I'm having a struggle to maybe meet so-and-so, right? Why is it that I'm having such a hard time getting together with her? And what we really start to find is when we're not aligned as far as our head and our heart, and that's kind of what I think the doubts come from, right? Like your heart's in it, your heart loves them, but your brain's like, yeah, no, there's no way. Maybe it's because you've still got some anger between you. Maybe you've still got some grumpiness between you. Astral letter video, linking that below. If you've got some sort of forgiveness problem and every time you think of them, that's what pops into your head and that's why you really can't get natural behind this, then spend some time doing some of those astral letters, get some forgiveness going, and see if you can start to heal that. And then once that's healed, then you can very easily start to get yourself in alignment with this thing that you're trying to manifest. More money is another one. A lot of us have a hard time truly imagining more money. And so for a lot of people, the way they go about it is they try to win the lotto. That's like, because in their mind, that's like a believable way to get money. But then at the same time, kind of an extreme one, and there's quite a few of you all trying to manifest that win. So that one can be a little tricky sometimes, right? But really what it comes down to is trying to manifest more money, being more abundant. I mean, granted, it's an abundant universe constantly. There's no question about it. We get more of whatever we focus on. We focus on bad things, we get more of that. We focus on good things, we get more of that. Focus on money, we're going to get more of that. Focus on relationships, we're going to get more of that. It's an abundant It's abundantly giving us whatever we focus on. It's seeing ourselves in possession of the money, where sometimes we have a hard time. Now, some of the belief cycles around money, for example, we've talked about these before as well, but things like all rich people are bad, people that have money aren't very good, only people with money are, they rule the world and they won't let people like me up. Like, a lot of us have interesting beliefs around money and abundance of money and more money. And because of those beliefs, we actually don't feel natural about it. So some of it's changing those beliefs, right? Looking at the fact that, tell yourself at least, when you're saying all people that are wealthy are horrible, tell yourself, no, there's good ones out there. There's some wealthy people out there. In fact, I'm going to meet a wealthy person that's super cool. And you will, and that will happen, and that will help to start change that belief. Yeah, sure, there's plenty of bad apples out there for everything, but there's also plenty of good apples out there, right? So don't let that bad apple or those few bad apples spoil the bunch when it comes to what you're trying to manifest. When we pay attention to the doubts that pop into our head, the doubts themselves are actually helpful. They help us understand what it is that's keeping us from our dream. Is it, like I said, because they're never going to forgive me? Well, that's the direction you need to worry. What's the thing that keeps popping into your head? They're never going to talk to me. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Well, there's some self-love issues, right? If that's the things that are popping up, let's work on that self-love. Let's get ourselves to the place where we actually realize we're worthy of this relationship. We're worthy of this person. Let's spend some time looking in the mirror saying, I love you. Dan, I love you. You're an awesome person. Keep doing what you're doing. You're all right. Yeah, so what? They're not talking to you yet. They're going to. They're going to. Why wouldn't they? You're a great person. You're a great man. Great person, right? So try to go down those paths. Maybe it's an issue of, I don't ever see them. Maybe they're famous. How could I ever bump into them? All right, well, if that's the doubt that keeps popping up, maybe you need to do a little research, figure out some of the places this individual tends to hang out. Maybe you can try to get there once in a while. If you put yourself in the place where this famous person's at, then it is possible that you'll bump into them. And that belief starts to become easier. And that naturalness about the idea of meeting this famous person becomes significantly easier as well. Don't let the doubts freak you out as much as show you the way. When I have doubts happen, when things like that occur in my life, I see them for what they are. It's one of the biggest things that makes a huge difference in my life and me developing myself. And I recommend it to anybody. And try it. I mean, it's worst thing you can do is be like, Dan's full of crud. I don't believe him, right? Or the other thing is be like, wow, this kind of works. When you see the doubt as an indication of what's going on inside of you that needs attention, needs help, needs healing, needs something, when we look at the doubts and then deal with the part that's actually causing the doubt, again, if I'm not good enough, if I'm not able to get where they're at, if I'm not in the city that they live in, so how could I? Well, let's try to make a pilgrimage to that city every so often. Let's take whatever that doubt thing is and see about remedying that. And once that's been dealt with, then we start to feel more natural about what it is that we're trying to manifest. The concept of living in the end isn't something that's so foreign and impossible to imagine. It starts to become something that's believable in your own mind, something that you're like, yeah, no, I can totally see this happening. Much like buying a new handbag. You totally see that happening, right? Going down and buying a new outfit. You can totally see that happening, right? You could get in your car and do it right now. Same is true about what you're trying to manifest, except there's some sort of doubt that's happening in there. What's that doubt? Deal with that. Look at that. Give that a hug. Love it. Don't try to change it with an affirmation. The doubt's not going to go away. It's just going to come back. You're slapping a Band-Aid on every time you do an affirmation. Again, affirmations are great because they are a really good way to turn that frown upside down. But on top of that, the doubt's going to happen again and again and again unless you deal with the wound. Unless you deal with what's festering underneath, the wound will never go away. You can put Band-Aids on it all day long, every single day. It's going to pop back up tomorrow. So give yourself the chance. Appreciate what you're showing yourself when you have these doubt cycles. Truly, appreciate it. You're showing yourself what you need to do. You keep asking, how can I do this? How can I do this? And your body keeps throwing these doubts up at you. It's like, there you go. Deal with this. Deal with this. And you're like, oh, no, affirmation. Good things, good things. How can I be better at this? Bad thing, bad thing. Oh, no, good things, good things. How can I be better at this? Bad thing happens back. Right? Stop the vicious cycle. Look at the bad thing. Be at one with that bad thing. And you will find that as you address that, as you look at it and deal with the underlying problem, you'll find that the doubts start to drift away, at least for this particular issue. Maybe a new doubt pops up after, right? You finally got the self-love thing taken care of, and then you're like, and you smile in the mirror, and you're like, my smile's crooked. Dang, that's why they don't like me. Well, now it's an issue of, all right, now I got to deal with the fact that this is how I look. I mean, I do it all the time. I noticed it too. Like my I don't know. I don't know what it is about people that, like, the one side of my face is very expressive. The other side's a little slow to catch up, apparently. Whatever. One side's funny, the other side's not. I don't know. But the fact is, we just have to learn to appreciate the fact that we're all snowflakes. We're all a little different. That's what makes us unique. And in most cases, when people have little funky things about them, that person that loves you loves that part of you as well. So let's look at the things that are causing us the doubt. Let's embrace them. And let's move forward in feeling more natural about what it is that we're trying to create. So the naturalness video that I did a couple weeks ago, that's linked below. Astral Letters video, also linked below. Both great videos. Astral Letters for those of you that want to work on some sort of forgiveness, either of somebody else or of yourself. If you've done a wrong to somebody else, it works really well for that. If somebody's done a wrong to you, it works very well for that. Ultimately, when it comes down to is when forgiveness is needed, we need to forgive ourselves. That's really it. Forgiveness is a very self-centered act, but it actually makes a difference to others when we can forgive ourselves for the mistakes we've made. It's called growing. And I know we're in a society today where you could make one mistake. Heck, I could have done a stand-up 10 years ago and said something that was perfectly appropriate 10 years ago, but is not okay to say today, and you are ostracized. And people will not give you a second chance. They feel like, well, you made a mistake, you're done forever. We really need to start looking at things a little differently. People make mistakes. We err as part of growth. All of us do. So to err is human, as they say. Let's learn from it. Let's evolve from it. Let's grow from it. Hopefully this makes a difference for you guys. More great videos coming your way. If you guys like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to try to help my channel in any way, shape, or form, likes, comments, views, watching, all that stuff is super duper helpful. And YouTube and myself always appreciate it when you can do that. So I thank you guys very much. More great videos coming your way. It's Dan RadioStyle. Thanks.